Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Monday Mindset. Can't believe it's already another Monday today. Looking forward to talking about what do you admire in a person? You know, when you think of like a man you admire or a woman you admire, like what do you admire in people and why do you admire that in people? We're going to talk about that today on Monday Mindset. I think it's a really important question that we all have to ask ourselves. So that's what we're going to go over. But before that, I'm going to cue this intro and I'll see you on the other side.
There are no bad businesses. There are just those people who don't know enough to see the opportunities in the work they're in. If there seems to be no future or opportunity in it, it isn't always because it's not there, but perhaps only because we can't see it.
Good morning again. Welcome to another Monday Mindset. Luke Acree here, coming at you from the beautiful, outside the beautiful city of Philadelphia. It's nice and sunny, but it's cold this morning. I'm like 34 days into my 75 hard, which if you don't know what that is, look it up. But it's basically 75 days of intense working out, dieting, drinking a gallon of water a day. Something Andy Frisella came up with. He has a great podcast that you guys can listen to. And, you know, I used to think I was a consistent person until I've done this 75 hard, where I realized, man, how inconsistent I actually was. Like, so I, would wake up and exercise 5 days a week. But when you commit to doing something every single day, there is a massive difference that it does to your psyche, that there are no days off. You have to get up. It was 29 degrees outside this morning. I was out there in my little driveway doing my running and my abs and everything like that. And it was freezing. It was 4:30 in the morning. And it's just like, man, the consistency of that. But you know what's amazing is the confidence it builds in you. The confidence when you overcome adversity, even as simple as just waking up. I think it was Andy Frisella, but maybe it was Jocko who said the snooze button is the dream killer. Right? Is when you hit that snooze button, you actually are letting yourself down. It's like when you overcome adversity, it gives you more and more confidence to tackle that next adversity. But I was listening to some content and there was a question posed that really resonated with me to think about that I want to give you guys today to set your week off on the right course, which is what do you admire in a person and why? What do you admire in a man? What do you admire in a woman? Like if someone were to ask you that today, your kids, what do you admire in a person? And why do you admire that in a person? I think that is such a powerful question to think about and to ask yourself, not only what is it that I admire in people? Why do I admire these things in people? And then the application part is, how am I displaying this in my life? How am I displaying these things that I admire? And you need to take some time to write that stuff down. So I just wrote down, and I'm sure if I spent more time, I'd come up with more things. I wrote down 8 quick things that came to mind for me of what I admire in people. And keep in mind, like when I'm thinking through this lens, I know I'm talking to the insurance syndicate. I know I have a bunch of business owners on, those who are joining on Instagram. I appreciate you guys coming in. I see people joining on now. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, RN. Good to see you. Thank you guys for commenting. Yeah, please like, comment. It helps in getting it seen by more people in the group. But I want you to think about that question. What do you admire in people and why? And I have found in my journey with Reminder Media. So we've been at this more than a decade. I have about 300 team members that I've hired so far. I've fired people. I get the privilege to work with people that are just amazing. We have like 42,000 clients that we work with. So just top producers in every field you can think of. I say that not to impress you. I say that to really let you know, I'm thinking through the lens of what is it that makes these people amazing? What is it that I admire about my team members that really kill it, that do well? What is it that I admire about my clients that do well? And then the pain point I see in a lot of people is they're chasing after something and they're listening to people that they don't even actually want their life. Do you ever find yourself listening to somebody where if you actually looked at the details of their life, their relationship with their wife or their husband, how they raise their kids, how they spend their money, their generosity, the time, the work-life balance that they have, you don't even want the life that they have, but you're sitting here consuming their content, listening to them. I make that mistake all the time too. It's like, it's a key piece of advice I would give my child. Don't listen to advice from people that you don't want the life that they have, right? Because the advice that they're giving you oftentimes are going to lead you to the road that they have. Not all the time, but it's a good rule of thumb to judge your coaches and your mentors on going, what is it, the life that they actually have? And do I want that life? So here are 8 things I wrote down about what I admire in a man or a woman or a person that really just quickly came to my heart and mind. One is I admire authenticity. I admire people who are real, people who are not afraid to speak the truth. Not afraid, even if it's not my truth, even if it's different, right? I'm a believer, right? And my dad's a pastor and I'm really involved in my church. And so I'm a strong believer in Christ. Even if you don't believe in Christ, I admire people who speak their truth, who speak what they think, that don't kowtow to the opinions of others, whether it's in their faith, their business, their relationships. They literally are authentic. And even if I don't agree with their views, I can appreciate their authenticity, man. And the more and more I've grown Reminder Media, it's like the people I want around me are the people who are going to speak their mind. When I look at my executive team and, we have an executive meeting, one of the things that I need in my executive meeting is people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in, even if they don't think it's what I believe in. I like that, man. That healthy conflict in an executive meeting is fantastic, but authenticity in life is incredible. So I challenge myself today. Am I authentic? Am I real to myself, speaking my beliefs, speaking my truths, what I believe to be right? Am I following that? And am I not sugarcoating messages to people? Am I not dancing around the point? Because when I really search deep about sugarcoating messages, it often has to do with me trying to get something that I want, that I'm nervous, I'm going to blow them up, and then I won't get what I want out of them, whether it's an activity that they're doing or a relationship that I have. It often is self-centered, and the reason why I sugarcoat a message or dance around the point, or I'm not completely real with somebody in sharing what I'm thinking. And so I admire people who are authentic. That's number one. Number two is I admire people that keep their promises. People who keep their word, maybe is a more simple way to say it. People who keep their promises, I admire. So my challenge to you today, are you keeping your promises? Are you keeping your word? When you say something, like there's this principle, let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes, right? Are you honoring what you say? And I find myself often in business, and especially in my early years, I would say yes to everything, even though I didn't mean it. I would make everybody feel like, yeah, we're going to do that. This is going to be big or whatever it is. Even though in my mind, I'm thinking something different. It kind of plays into the authenticity too. So there's a theme here you can see in what I see and what I believe and I admire in people, what I think makes people successful. I think if you keep your promises, if you mean what you say and you do what you say, it is a principle that is more valuable than money. Your reputation is really the things that you say. Like, do you deliver on the things that you say? That's your reputation. And your reputation is what follows you everywhere. And I don't know who I was listening to, if it was Alex or Mosey or whatever it was. It's like the one thing that will last the test of time is your reputation. So you can have failures in activity and games you do and businesses that you start and they make it or don't make it, but your reputation is going to stick with you wherever you go. So do you keep your promises? And then also that plays into confidence, right? So Ed Milet is the one who said confidence is built off of keeping the promises that you make to yourself. So I made a promise to myself of doing 75 hard. That was a commitment I made. Right. And my wife, she laughs at me every night in a good way. Right. She's just sparring me on. But she's like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing 75 hard? And I love these types of challenges because it focuses me. It encourages my confidence that, Luke, you said you were going to do 75 hard. You're going to wake up every morning. You're going to do 2 workouts a day, drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages in a book, all the things that go along with 75 hard. And you did it. So you're someone who, when you make a promise, when you say something to yourself, you can keep it. And that, guess what? That encourages me and gives me the confidence to do even things like this, where I can speak in front of people, and I can speak in front of people with an integrity that goes, hey, I'm not sharing with you anything that I'm not trying to hold myself to, that I'm not trying to live out in my own life, and that I haven't experienced. So keeping the promises to yourself, huge. The third thing I wrote down, so if you're following along so far, is I admire in people who are authentic. I admire in people who keep their promises. And I admire in people that have a vision and a passion for what they are doing. Man, I want to be around people who are on fire for their vision, on fire for what they're passionate about, what they're working towards. I love those people. We all know them. They walk into a room and you can feel it. You can feel when they start talking about their subject matter, when they start talking about their vision or what they're working on. You can tell the people who just have a 9-to-5 job and the people who have a passion for what they're doing, right? Because they get specific, they get a smile. When they talk, you can just see it on them. I often see this in parents, right? You can tell a parent, right, that loves their kids, because when they talk about their kids, man, their whole demeanor change. Just watch their face, the smiles that they have on their face. You can tell because they're passionate about their kids, right? So I admire in people who have a vision for their life and they're passionate and they're moving towards it. Number 4, I admire in people determination and perseverance. I admire in people the people who can get knocked down, who can take a punch, who don't take it personally, and they can get back up and they can keep going. I'm sure you admire that in people as well. So challenge yourself. Do you have that? If you admire in people perseverance, if you admire in people grit, what is the thing in your life that you are making excuses about today? What is the thing in your life that you have the victim mentality on? These are things we all know, but you got to self-reflect. You got to hold that mirror up to yourself and go, man, I admire in people who persevere. I admire in people who don't complain about their leads, who make their calls every single day, who show up to the gym even the days they don't feel it, right? You ever look at somebody who's really fit and you just, have this almost envy? Like, you admire them. They're fit. They're going to the gym. They're eating healthy, and you admire that in them. You admire that perseverance, that determination, that consistency. That's what I admire in someone. And so my challenge to myself today is, am I showcasing that in my life? And, I consume content. You guys can tell I consume content all the time. Ed Milet talks about with your kids, right? Most of the stuff with your kids is caught, not taught, meaning like I want to teach Evelyn and my son, who's about to be born at the end of this month. I want to teach them about determination and perseverance. But the reality is I can tell them all day long, but what they catch from me, what gets caught, and how they watch me live my life is going to be way more powerful. So your team members, what they're catching from you, your clients, what they catch from you and how you live, how you respond, that is what's going to showcase to them determination and perseverance versus you saying you're determined and you have perseverance. Real Chris Bailey, appreciate you, man, saying congratulations on the kid being born. Yes, my son is being born, and I am super excited about it, as you can tell. Hey, Medicare Misty, good to see you. Happy Monday. Let's go. I appreciate that. Ryan, great to see you. Alex, great to see you. Joe, appreciate you guys. All right, so what are we on right now? We're on number 5. So remember, this is, what do I admire in a man or a woman? And I wrote down the 8 things that came to my heart right away. I challenge you, write down the things that come to your mind. Then ask yourself why you admire these in people, and are you displaying these in your own life? Because if you admire them, why aren't you showcasing them? Number 5 is empathy. I admire in people who have empathy, right? Empathy is you can understand how others are feeling, and you can appreciate how others are feeling, and you can relate to them, and you can actually care for them of where they're at. You ever heard of walking in someone's shoes? You have the ability to walk in someone's shoes. I appreciate people on my team who can walk in others' shoes, that they can look at the client and their situation, they can look at their peer and their situation, and they can display empathy, and they don't let their ego overtake them, or they don't let their goal overtake their empathy. And what I mean by that is they're not just pushing people over to get where they want to be. They're actually bringing people along with them. Number 6, I appreciate winners. I appreciate people who win. I don't have any shame in saying it. I want to be around winners, and winners win in every market, right? The market is turned, and I talk to real estate agents, insurance agents, small business owners all day long, and I constantly hear, man, this is an interesting market. This is a tough market. It's a painful market. Winners win in every market. I appreciate people who win, right? And winning to me is never quitting. Winning to me is continuing to go, like that perseverance and that determination. And winning to me is winning. Like you win in your income, you win in your family. I want you to be a 3-dimensional person, man. I want you to win in your faith, win in your family, win in your business. You don't have to be a 1-dimensional person. Most people get so 1-dimensional that they win in their business and they fail in their marriage. They win in their family, but they fail in their income. You don't have to be a 1-dimensional person. You can be a 3-dimensional person. You have to hold yourself to that standard, because the bar you set is the bar you're going to reach. So if you set the bar down low and you think you can only be successful in one thing, you will only be successful in one thing. I appreciate winners, and I tagged on to that. They win and are full of joy. Why do I appreciate winners? I appreciate the people who walk around with a winning attitude. They are full of joy. They bring joy into the room. They bring joy into their situations. They don't look at that glass half empty. They look at the glass half full. I want to be a person of joy. I want people who come across me to go, man, I'm happier when I was around Luke. I feel more motivated. That guy wants to win in every area of his life. And it makes me want to win in every area of my life. I appreciate winners. Number 7, I admire in people who have humility. So they win all day long, but they're the most humble people. They're not bragging about their winning. They're not rubbing it in people's faces. They're not egotistical. They have a humility about them because they know, even though they are winners, it's not about showcasing to people their win and bragging about their win. Although healthy showcasing is good, I appreciate people who have humility and don't see themselves. They're never too proud. You know, some of these people that we have, you know, in business that we can look up to and follow, you know, the thing that makes them great is they're confident enough to speak their mind. They're confident enough to be authentic, and they're confident enough to take a chance, and they're confident enough to keep going when they face adversity. I admire all those things, but one of the big weaknesses I see in a lot of these influencers, these really successful people that are more successful than even me when it comes to money, I feel they lack the humility to go, hey, who are the trusted counsel that I'm going to allow in to speak into my life, that those people I'm going to let my guard down with and not think I know more than them. I'm going to trust their opinion of me. And this is a biblical principle too, that you should have wise counsel that you let in. You can't listen to everybody's opinion. You'll fail. But there should be some people that you have in your life that you let them speak to you, that you don't let your ego go above what they tell you. They're your trusted mentors, confidants, that your trusted friends. Those people you need in your life. So I admire people that have humility, that can lead in such a way and live their life in such a way. And number 8 that I wrote down is I admire people that love their family and their friends well. I admire people who love their family and their friends well. And you see it in how they treat their family and their friends. You see it in what they make their life about. You see it in their attitude. And I want to be someone who is known for loving his family and his friends well. I want to have a team of people that love their family and love their friends well. Don't mistake love with just sugarcoating everything. Sometimes love is being real to people and having radical candor, right? You can allow people to dump on you all the time, but at a certain point, it turns from love to abuse, right? So I appreciate people who love well and they love their friends and family well, and that's both sides of the equation. They have patience, they forbear, they go through suffering with their people, but they also stand up for truth and they speak the truth into people's lives. So I hope that has challenged you in some of those topics today. The question for all of you to think about is, What do you admire in a man or a woman and why? And then take inventory of your life and go, do I display these things? And where are these things am I lacking? Your 8 might be different than my 8. It might be some the same, some different. I love in the comments if you put some of the other things that maybe I didn't mention that you admire about people that you strive for, because it's just a great point to reflect, to look in the mirror and go, okay, how do I improve? Because life is about getting 1% better every single day to chase that best version of yourself that you were created to be. And if you have true authenticity, it's, you know, your identity. That's where true authenticity can flow from. For me, I know my identity given to me by my creator, right? But you have to seek out, where's my identity? Where does it flow from? Because that will give you the power to have true authenticity. Hey, it's Monday. This is supposed to be a Monday mindset. I hope it's challenged you, inspired you, encouraged you. Get out there and win for you, your family, your clients, your friends. Let's make it happen this week. Appreciate all of you. Let's have a great week and a great day.